Hi everybody, how's it going today? Thanks for watching another video. I'm in our heifer barn here this morning. It's Monday morning and hopefully the coldest morning of the year. It's was negative 20 or so this morning when I left the house. And my phone was showing wind chill of negative 46 degrees Fahrenheit, which means it's going to be pretty similar in Celsius, but it's extremely cold there today. Yesterday morning was around negative 10 or so, I think, negative 12 maybe. I don't think it's supposed to get above negative 10 today as a high, and then tonight's supposed to be pretty cold again, not quite. I mean, right around the same as it was this morning, I think, or this last night. And then tomorrow after lunch, supposed to warm up, get above 0. And then the day after that, we're getting close to 30 again. So it's just a short cold snap. Should be able to handle that okay. Just wanted to check the waters in this barn, ask Jose Luis if he's had any frozen water troughs. I'm assuming not, because usually they call me right away, but want to just make sure because I'd rather deal with it as soon as possible if we do have any frozen water troughs. I'm gonna head over to our calving barn. There's one trough in there that doesn't get used as much as the other 3, and that one likes to get some ice on top of it even though the heater works like it should. We'll check that out too to make sure none of those are froze up. The troughs in the milking barns, we don't have heaters on those. The cows, with the amount of cows in that barn and with it being insulated, those don't ever freeze. So don't have to worry about those. Just check some things over this morning. Usually when it's this cold, things like overhead doors, manure pump here in the heifer barn, hydraulic hoses, things like that like to break. None of that yet this morning, but it's early yet, so we'll see how the day goes. I did have a manure pump frozen this morning, but it only took me 5 minutes or so to get it unfroze. Just a valve on the piston pump. Both valves are froze up, but the first one popped right open, and the second one, yeah, like 5 minutes, and I had it loose. So nothing too major there. I was here last night and ran that pump around 9 o'clock. So usually when it gets this cold, I like to do that here in the heifer barn. Just get some movement in that pump, get some new manure in there. Then it doesn't tend to freeze as quickly. Heifers are doing okay. Just eating, relaxing. No problems with the cows. Actually, the cows are, surprisingly, the cows are up on milk production a little bit. We're up about 2 pounds there in the last 3-4 days, which is a little surprising. Intakes are up, obviously, with it. It doesn't get as cold in the barns, but they do eat more when it gets this cold out. So intakes are up a little, but milk production is also up a little. So that's a good thing. We'll see what the day brings today. Checking out our calves in our lean-to here. We put bedding in these pens yesterday. They don't necessarily need bedding, but kind of like with the heifers, the older heifers, I think I might just have the guys put bedding in here. We usually put 2 small squares in here each pen. I think I might just do 1, just so they have some more fluffy bedding. Don't see any signs of any heifers being cold, but I'd rather be on the safe side than the sorry side. It is Monday today, so it's all their bedding's all their feed's gonna get cleaned out of the troughs here this morning. They'll get fresh feed. You guys cold? Got some frost on their hair. So frost on the side of the barn. They're also on the bird netting. Hey girl. in our calf barn here now. Check on these younger calves. Mauricio and Brian will be coming in here to feed these calves here shortly. Just checked with the thermostat here that controls these air tubes, and it's about 15-ish degrees Fahrenheit in this barn currently. So about, what is that, about 35 degrees warmer in this barn than it is outside. This barn is insulated, but these calves don't give off a lot of body heat, so just being out of the wind helps keep these calves out of those cold temps. Got the jackets on the calves, help keep them warm. And now they hear me talking, so now they think their milk's coming. Which it is, just in a few more minutes. They're all up and ready for their milk, which is a good sign. They're up and alert, moving around. We'll be moving this quarter of this barn out here either probably not tomorrow, but maybe Wednesday. We'll move some heifers tomorrow. At least that's my plan, anyways. They're getting quite full. Heifers look good. It's mid-morning here. It's actually gotten colder than this morning. It's negative 26. Wind temperature of negative 57 at the moment, which I don't know how accurate that is. The wind has picked up some, but that's brutally cold if you're outside standing in the wind. You don't want to be out there for very long. But Christian told me there was some ice in the water trough here in our calving barn, so I thought I'd check these troughs out quick. There's 4 water troughs in this barn. We've got 2 pens, one on this side of the feed alley, one on the other side of the feed alley. Each pen has 2 troughs. But this one here, it's shared between this small pen here, this heifer here calved this morning, and then the big pen. And then there's another trough in the center of this pen, and the majority of the cows use that center trough, so this one really doesn't get used very often. And there's he broke the ice out about an hour ago, and there's slush on top already, so we'll have to keep an eye on this trough here. The problem is, so the heater is working, but it just doesn't get used very much, and that heater really is not designed to keep that whole trough open. So we usually just break the ice out in the morning, but it's only been about an hour and there's slush on the top already, so we'll have to keep an eye on that here the next 24 hours. We'll just check the other ones here, and we might as well see if there's any cows or heifers calving. A lot of cows laying on the east side here. They're kind of huddled together. A group of cows in the middle, group of cows on the east side. This barn is fairly unpopulated in comparison to our milking barns. There's about 120 cows and heifers in this barn. With a bedded pack, you can't, it's not as efficient as freestalls are as far as cows per square foot of the barn, because in this same size barn, if we had freestalls, or in our freestall barn in the same size barn, there'd be spaces for 300 and 350 cows. So it's quite a difference in the amount of cows that create body heat to keep the barn warm. Looks like this trough is okay too. Frost on the bed pack. We'll be putting bedding in this barn here today also. Looks like looks like we don't have ice in this one either. Not sure what the temp is in the barn here. Definitely a lot warmer than it is outside, but it is below freezing. Chilly. It's the next day here in our South Milking freestall barn. We had an issue with this door this morning. It was negative 15 or so this morning, not quite as cold as yesterday. But just overnight the last few days, and just over the last few days, just got a lot of frost build up on this door. Quite a bit of snow and ice built up in the rail all the way up to the top. It's not uncommon to happen when we get extremely cold temperatures, but on this door in particular, it was too heavy to get this door to open up, so I'd opened it with the chain this morning. Victor didn't use this door for about half the night. We can open some gates into the middle of the barn all the way down. You can see some cows walking across there. We can open those gates, then we can come through that far door and push feed in this barn here, or this side of the barn. So then when I got here this morning, they were telling me about it. I checked it out and I thought maybe a cable had broke or a spring. Sometimes that happens, but it was just the snow and ice was just too heavy for that door to open. I opened it about halfway with the chain and then was able to run it off the opener. But I'm gonna try scraping some of the ice off the rails and some of the snow off the door here. Try to get some weight off that door, keep the rails a little bit more clear, and then spray some lube on it. We did lube all the doors up here 3 days ago. I had Jose Luis, I think it was Jose Luis and Mauricio, maybe that did it. Had them lube up all the doors. Try to do that a couple of times a month, but especially with this cold weather coming, helps keep those doors a little bit moving a little bit better. But we'll set the ladder up, clean some of that ice off, and hopefully we can get this door to open up a little bit more smoothly. I just mentioned it was about negative 15 this morning. We've got a strong south wind, and it's actually all the way up to like 10-15 degrees above zero already at this point, and it's supposed to get all the way up to like 20-25 today. So it's warming up really quickly, which is kind of weird, but we'll take it. Sometimes it can cause more problems though than good. If it doesn't warm up enough for long enough, all that frost and ice that's on the doors, and it's also on the north side of the curtains. It melts, but not enough to completely come off of the doors and the curtains, and then it'll actually make them run even worse than they were. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll just have to wait and see. That's already made a pretty big difference. You can see how much snow and frost is actually on that door, and I didn't even get all of it off. Well, I'm gonna do the bottom strip here. So we actually put some old conveyor belting on here, about 10 inches, so that help keeps those bottom rollers off the floor. We did that probably, I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago, I suppose. And that's made a big difference on these doors, because a lot of times what happens when things start to warm up, all this ice starts to melt, but it freezes on the bottom, and then when you put the door down, that wheel sits on that ice, then the cable pops loose on one side, and then when that happens, you got a problem. Obviously, if the cable comes off on one side, then you end up breaking other things typically. So that helps quite a bit, but getting this frost and snow off of this door will help quite a bit also. I did see we got one of these hinges is loose, so we'll have to put a couple of new screws in there when it warms up. We'll just leave it for now. I'm gonna clean that up, broom that outside, and then we'll lube this door up, and hopefully we'll be good to go here. Got this door cleaned up and lubed up, and then I thought that that worked pretty good. So Mauricio and Christian, they were gonna move heifers this afternoon, but instead I'm gonna have them do all of the big overhead doors. Just go across them with a broom, get all that snow off of there. They're I don't know if you guys will quite be able to see that very well, but they're down at the far end working on that door. Gonna broom off the doors and the rails. It's not gonna hurt to do. Should hopefully prevent some issues with these doors here in the next couple days as things start to warm up, and that typically what happens is that snow turns to water, but it doesn't all run off in time, and then it gets cold at night and it turns into ice on the doors. So we can try to prevent some of that. Should prevent some issues with these doors here for the rest of winter, hopefully. But I think we'll end the video here. Didn't really have too many issues over these last couple days. We had 2 hydraulic hoses on our feeding payloader that popped holes in them from just how stiff they are, and then when they're moving back and forth so much, so I replaced those. And then I had 2 one on a skid steer that my dad uses. I replaced that this morning, and then our feeder said he had the same hose on his, so I'm gonna do that here this afternoon yet, get a new hose for that. So all in all, didn't have too many troubles. I don't think the cows noticed anything. They were fed on time, milked on time, beds are nice and comfortable. No problems there, and that's always the goal. Making sure that the cows are not affected by any extreme cold or extreme snow or extreme wind, and it wasn't the case this time around. So we'll take it as a win. If you have questions, comments, post them down below. Appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.